From islands that seem to have killer histories to ones that might be hiding more than you imagine and more, here are 9 of the most mysterious islands that hide a secret. Number 9. Isla Bermeja. Knowing a country's territory is vital for both economic and political purposes. And for countries like Mexico, claiming islands can help extend their territory against rival nations. This is exactly what Mexico did in the 1700s when they found an island called Isla Bermeja. They claimed the island as their own, and because it was a farther reach than any other island in their territory, it vastly expanded the limit of their country's economic reach. Mainly, it allowed them to drill for oil in an area that the United States was highly interested in. So, by law, Mexico owned that section of water, and the US couldn't touch it. For a couple hundred years, Isla Bermeja went untouched, and the US kept its distance from the border that Mexico had established. But in 1997, a Navy expedition to the island found something rather odd. The island was gone. There was no trace of it. And this wasn't a simple directional error. They went to where the maps have shown the island for years, and yet it was gone completely. Then, around 2009, a study done by the National Autonomous University of Mexico concluded that the island didn't exist where it was supposed to be. They even used radar and other sensors to search both the land and the ocean for it, but it couldn't be found. So that begs the question, what happened to the island? Was it ever there? You would have to feel that it was, for if it wasn't, you would have to assume the United States would have figured it out in the 1700s, and not the 1900s. But what truly happened to the island is unclear. Some think an earthquake could have swallowed it up. Others think that perhaps the rising ocean waters sunk it. There was even the thought about a bombing of the island, but no one is sure. And of course, that would have shown up on someone's radar. The secret may never be discovered. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments below. Number 8. Palmyra Atoll. The idea of an island being cursed is hardly new, but when it comes to places like Palmyra Atoll, their secrets may just be best left uncovered. A lot of dark and mysterious things have happened on this piece of land over the years, and not many are sure what exactly went down. The most critical stories of the bunch have to deal with mysterious shipwrecks that happened on the island. Many ships have crashed there over the centuries, and when they do, things go from bad to worse in a hurry, including the vessel known as Angel, where it wrecked on the rocky shores, and the remaining surviving crew were then brutally killed by parties unknown. Fast forward to World War II, and an equally mysterious event occurred there. The US Navy inhabited the island for a base of operations of sorts. While on the island, many servicemen suddenly went crazy and took their own lives, as well as cases of soldiers turning against and killing one another. There was also a major murder that happened on the island that made international headlines. When you add all of this up, it's as though the island itself wanted people to stay away from it, or pay the price. But as to what happened to all the people who died and shipwrecked on the island, we'll likely never know for sure. Hey, real quick, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these. Number 7. Barsa-Kelmes. Barsa-Kelmes is a Kazakh word that means the land of no return, a very haunting title for an island that is much more than it appears, and already somewhere I don't think I ever want to go. But the reason for this island getting the name is not what you think. According to various legends, the island is known for doing weird things to the people who stay there, such as a group of escapees who stayed upon the island for a year, but after getting off the island and returning home, they looked decades older. Again, I don't think I want to go there. Furthermore, there have been various tales about groups of people going to the island and then vanishing without a trace. Though some people claim that the reason for the disappearances was an ancient, as in prehistoric, creature that lived there. The island is now a reserve and thus no one can live on it. Number 6. Bostrif Island. In times of war, islands are a perfect place to hold both military bases and labs for experimentation. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union used Bostrif Island for just that purpose. In fact, in the earliest days of the Soviet Union, within the 1920s, they wanted an island to do chemical and biological weapons testing, and Bostrif Island fit the bill perfectly because it was secluded and surrounded by a desert, thus ensuring that any outbreaks would be destroyed by the natural heat. The specific purpose of the lab on the island was to infect creatures, mostly monkeys, with things like plague, anthrax, smallpox, tuberculosis, tularemia, and botulinum, and other diseases, and then modify the strains so that they couldn't be treated with the medicine the world had at the time. The test on this island went on for many decades, going well into the 70s. One scientist in particular even worked there for 18 years. But that begs the question, what eventually became of it? The island was within the Aral Sea, and the sea dried up, and because it was surrounded by deserts, it was uninhabitable soon after. But this is where the mystery kicks in. For though the place had been looted and robbed since the Soviet Union abandoned it, the Soviets buried all of their plagues in anthrax in order to ensure that they were never caught violating a treaty made in 1972. The problem is, the bioweapons could still be there, buried under the sands of the desert, just waiting to be found. Various officials from places like the US claim that it's very unlikely that the strain survived, but with no one being sure, it does raise some questions. Number 5. Miyake-Jima Island. If you were to look up the island of Miyake-Jima, you'd be in for quite a surprise. Because if you were to look at the residents of this island, you'd find yourself gazing at groups of people who are all wearing gas masks, a haunting image for an island with a very curious history. The reason for the gas masks is well known. You see, the island has an active volcano, so they're always in danger if they live there. But that's not all. Poisonous gas seeps from the bowels of the earth, and that's why the gas masks are needed, because if you don't wear it, you'll die. In 1962, after a severely strong eruption, all residents were evacuated, but in 2000, they returned to their motherland. Nowadays, about 2,400 people live on this island, and that's the mystery. Why? Why are they so drawn to live on this island that is literally prone to an eruption and has gas that can kill them? Are they eager to see which might take them first? Or is there some other lore to the island that we just don't know about? Number 4. Earthquake Island. Somewhere named Earthquake Island is not exactly somewhere you want to take a vacation at. Earthquakes are some of the most damaging natural disasters in the world. But in 2013, it was also the source of creation. How so? Well, in Pakistan, a massive earthquake devastated the country, killing dozens and destroying many homes. But once the earthquake had stopped, people started to notice something odd happening just offshore. There was an island rising from the water, one that had not been there before the earthquake. The island could be found off the port of Water, and it wasn't small. It was over 300 feet long and 30 feet tall, which begs the question, how did an earthquake cause the birth of an island? Scientists feel that the earthquake, which was a magnitude of 7.3, was able to buckle the earth that was on the ocean floor near the port and form an island. But that's only a theory. The true answer is still a mystery. Number 3. Bouvet Island. Is there anything more mysterious than a truly isolated island that no one really knows what goes on there or who has lived there? That is absolutely the case with Bouvet Island. This island is in the middle of the ocean, and there's no other land around for 3,146,000 square miles. which is a little less than the area of Europe. However, we do know there was someone on the island at one point in time, but the reason for it is truly mysterious. After being open for 60 years, an expedition to the island was launched. They reached the island, and to their surprise, they found a single boat right off its shores. There were no markings or name on the boat, and the paddles were 10 meters away. The expedition thought the ship had wrecked, but no bodies were found anywhere, nor were there any shelters that said they made it to the island. So, what happened to the people on the boat? It also should be noted that another secret of this island is the one about who dropped 2 nuclear devices on it. It happened, and no one took credit for it. Number 2, Isla de las Munecas. Isla de las Munecas translates to Island of the Dolls, and this island near Mexico City is hailed as one of the creepiest and potentially most haunted places in the world. But it all starts with the legend of how the island got its name. At one point in time, a caretaker looked after the island, and one day, he found a dead girl's body floating in a canal nearby. He buried her on the island, and later on, felt that he was being haunted by her. Desperate to bring peace to her spirit, he started making and collecting dolls. After he was finished with them, he put them all over the island. The intent was that the girl would have these dolls to play with, and thus leave him alone. However, eventually, the caretaker died, in the exact same canal in the same spot that the girl did. Convenient? Intentional by the caretaker? Or something more? The mysterious secret of this island is one that is felt by all who visit it, because the island is said to be haunted through the dolls that are everywhere, to the extent that tourists and visitors to it will say the dolls are watching them. Is the spirit of the girl and the caretaker within the dolls themselves? Number 1, Roanoke Island. The mystery of Roanoke is known to all who study U.S. history, mainly in that it's the first island that was settled by the English in the New World. However, after a gap in visiting the island due to war, the English returned to find the island completely abandoned. The only clue as to what happened to them was the word Croatoan carved into a tree. Furthermore, the bodies of those on the island were not found outside of a single skull. Considering that this was a full colony of 100 or so people, that would be rather odd to only have found one skull. Croatoan has been debated a lot over the years, due to the fact that it was the name of a tribe of people nearby. But the tribe was contacted, and the settlers were not there. Plus, the name is also the moniker of a god, and it translates to Soul Reaper. So some think the tribe might have sacrificed them to said god. The mystery of Roanoke has never been solved, and it's likely to never be solved, and thus its secret is intact. Thanks for watching. What do you think of these mysterious islands that might be hiding a lot of secrets? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!